Before coming to Olds College, I worked at a ranch out in Rocky Mountain House. Out there I was in charge of 30 head of horses, and one of them was an Appaloosa named Jet. Every morning he was always coming in with sores, so we got him checked by the vet and they asked if he'd been tested for congenital stationary night blindness. He hadn't, but when we got confirmation that he had been, we moved him into the barn at night so that he wouldn't injure himself outside. Congenital stationary night blindness is a condition that most people are not aware of, when it's such an easy fix. It is also a condition that affects the horse's ability to see at night and should not be taken lightly. As such, these horses are a danger to themselves unless they are taken care of. In my genetics class, I studied this condition, and the more I learned about it, the more interested I was. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about describing congenital stationary night blindness. I'm going to tell you the genes that are involved within it, and I will tell you how to prevent it and the testing for it. Congenital stationary night blindness is a chronic condition found in Appaloosa horses. It is an inherited gene from both parents. It doesn't necessarily make the horse go blind, but it prevents the horse from being able to tell depth within the shadows. As horses are colorblind, they can't see colors, so they use the shadow's depth to be able to tell. Most horses have very impressive night vision, but horses with CNSB are unable to tell the difference within the shadows. There is also an unnatural rotation of the eye, which causes irritation and confusion within the horse in dim light. Now that you have some understanding of congenital stationary night blindness, I will move on to enlightening you about the genetic materials involved. CSNB is a condition passed on through both parents. It is an LP dominant gene. The LP gene is found on the DNA that allows for the leopard printing on a horse. A horse gets this when both parents pass on the LP gene, meaning it is a homozygous dominant for the LP gene. The LP-LP pattern includes little to no spots on the white part of the body, as shown in the diagram. As you can see, a horse with only one copy of the LP dominant gene has many spots on the white parts of the body. That is called a heterozygous dominant horse. They are not affected with night blindness, but they are carriers. Now that I have explained what and how CNSB is acquired, I will explain the testing for it as well as how to improve the horse's life. There is DNA testing done to see if your horse is homozygous dominant for the LP gene. This testing is done by pulling 30 to 40 hairs from the mane or tail. When bagging the hairs, be careful not to get them wet, for damage to the hair can be done by bacteria growing within it. You then send in your DNA samples along with your form and $40 fee to certain labs. If your horse is found with CNSB, then it's a very simple fix. You avoid riding in dimly lit areas and light up your trailer so that they don't get anxious. And when stabling them at night, you can either put them in a lit pasture or stable them inside. That prevents them from hurting themselves at night. Today I described what congenital stationary night blindness is, I explained the genes involved, and I also explained how the testing project works and how it's fixed. CNSB is a condition that affects the horse's ability to see at night and should not be taken lightly, as these horses are a danger to themselves. In conclusion, being aware of congenital stationary night blindness can potentially save your horse's life. When a person is aware, then their horse can live a normal life. It is easy to deal with and not hard to figure out. If you have any further questions about CSNB, feel free to comment in the discussions.